Minister of Malaysia Yang Amat Berhormat Dato Seri Anwar bin Ibrahim, accompanied by Ministry of Finance too, and distinguished guests. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise.
Peradaban kita bangunkan, bina kota, bina insan, dari budi jadi budaya, bina asas kemampanan, kesejahteraan masa depan. Ayo seluruh anak pertiwi, bangunkan Malaysia madani, sepenuh hati, jiwa, semangat, terus meyakini Malaysia madani. Ayo seluruh anak pertiwi, sembarakan Malaysia madani, sepenuh hati, jiwa, semangat, terus meyakini Malaysia madani. Keyakinan jadi ikutan, pendirian jiwa ihsan, nilai hormat keras diminda.
Please remain standing for the national anthem.
Kesejahteraan masa depan. Ayo seluruh anak pertiwi, bangunkan Malaysia madani, sepenuh hati, jiwa, semangat, terus meyakini Malaysia madani. Ayo seluruh anak pertiwi, sembarakan Malaysia.
Pray be seated. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang Amat Berhormat Dato Seri Anwar bin Ibrahim, Prime Minister of Malaysia. Yang Berhormat Dato Seri Amir Hamzah Azizan, Minister of Finance to Malaysia. Yang Berhormat Senator Dato Seri Diraja Dr. Zamri Abdul Kadir, Minister of Higher Education Malaysia. Yang berbahagia Datuk Johan Mahmud Merican, Secretary General of Treasury. Yang berbahagia Datuk Abdul Rashid Ghaffur, Governor Bank Negara Malaysia. Yang berbahagia Datuk Seri Dr. Awang Adik bin Hussein, Chairman the Securities Commission Malaysia. Excellencies, distinguished ambassadors, distinguished guests, revered speakers, participants of G5 2024, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Salam sejahtera, very good morning, sabah al-khair. On behalf of the patron, the Ministry of Finance Malaysia, and the organizer, Bank Negara Malaysia, it is our pleasure to welcome all of you today to the Global Forum on Islamic Economics and Finance, G5 2024, official opening ceremony. We also would like to extend a special welcome to excellencies and foreign dignitaries. Selamat datang to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Under the banner, Shaping a Resilient Global Islamic Economy Through Value-Based Reforms, in collaboration with strategic partners, the Securities Commission Malaysia, Labuan Financial Services Authority, the International Islamic Liquidity Management Corporation, the Islamic Development Bank, the Islamic Financial Services Board, and the World Bank Group were honored to organize this global forum. أصحاب المعالي والسعادة، سيداتي والسادة، ضيوفنا الأجلاء وحضورنا الكرام، نحييكم ونرحب بكم في حفل افتتاح والإطلاق منتدى العالمي للاقتصاد والتمويل الإسلامي لعام 2024 بكوالالمبور. صلوا على جميل الوجه وبدر التمام شفيع الخلق في يوم الزحام. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه. الحمد لله الذي جعل هذا اليوم عافية وجاء بالشمس من مطلعها. اللهم ارزقنا خير هذا اليوم وادفع عنا شره. اللهم نور قلوبنا بنور هدايتك كما نورت الأرض بنور شمسك أبداً أبداً برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let us begin this ceremony by inviting our guest reciter of the Holy Quran, Al-Fadil Ayman Ridwan Muhammad Ramlan. He will be reciting verse 76 to 78, Surah Al-Qasas. ضيوفنا الأجلاء وحضورنا الكرام، مع القرآن ما أحلى البيان، نوراً تجلى في سما دنيانا، فآية من الذكر الحكيم يرتلها على أسماعنا الفاضل أيمان رضوان محمد رملان، فليتفضل مأجورا. وإذا قرئ القرآن فاستمعوا له وأنصتوا لعلكم ترحمون.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن قارون كان من قوم موسى فبغى عليهم وآتيناه من الكنوز ما إن مفاتحه لتنوء بالعصبة أولي القوة إذ قال له قومه لا تفرح إن الله لا يحب الفرحين. وابتغ فيما آتاك الله الدار الآخرة ولا تنس نصيبك من الدنيا وأحسن كما أحسن الله إليك قال إنما أوتيته على علم عندي أولم يعلم أن الله قد أهلك من قبله من القرون من هو أشد منه قوة أن الله قد أهلك من قبله من القرون من هو أشد منه قوة وأكثر جمعا ولا يسأل عن ذنوبهم المجرمون صدق الله العظيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته
صدق الله العظيم. جزاكم الله خير الجزاء للفاضل الأستاذ. ضيوفنا الأجلاء وحضورنا الكرام، الآن يشرفنا أن ندعو إلى المنصة معالي محافظ البنك المركزي الماليزية. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure now to call upon the Governor of Bank Negara Malaysia, Yang Berbahagia Dato Abdul Rashid Ghaffur, to deliver the welcoming remarks. Dengan segala hormatnya, dipersilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang Amat Berhormat Dato Seri Anwar Ibrahim, Prime Minister of Malaysia. Yang Berhormat Dato Seri Amir Hamzah Azizan, Minister of Finance II of Malaysia. Ministers and Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. It is with immense pleasure and gratitude that I welcome you to the Global Forum on Islamic Economics and Finance, or G5. G5 is a continuation from the 15th International Conference on Islamic Economics and Finance that was held in February this year. The discussions and research papers that was presented earlier have laid the groundwork for fostering a sustainable and humane economic framework, which we hope to advance today. There is a myriad of opportunities and challenges facing the global economy. Global trade is expected to strengthen, inflation is moderating, and positive labor market conditions continue to support global growth. Nevertheless, downside risks remain as the threat of further escalation of geopolitical tensions persists, and higher than anticipated inflation outturns might contribute to further volatility in the global financial markets. The climate crisis and environmental degradation also looms large, not only wreaking havoc in our physical world, but also threatening the lives and livelihoods of many. It is estimated that if no mitigating actions are taken, climate change could slash off up to 18% of global GDP by 2050. These headwinds will no doubt aggravate economic inequality, widening disparities not only across but within countries. The principles of Islamic economics and finance hold the promise of driving value-based growth beyond mere profit goals, one that is balanced, progressive, sustainable, and inclusive. Aligned with the objective of Sharia, we are called to foster shared prosperity. Throughout the history of Islamic civilization, we have observed that the adoption of Sharia principles as a guiding light has coincided with periods of unparalleled societal advancement marked by diminishing poverty and robust economic prosperity. As remarked by Ibn al-Qayyim, in its entirety, Sharia is justice, mercy, benefit, and wisdom. Indeed, the fundamental values of Islamic economics and finance offer a way forward to reflect and rethink our approaches in addressing challenges facing the global economy. As we reflect upon our duty as vicegerent or Khalifah in this world towards shaping a resilient global Islamic economy through value-based reforms, which is the theme of our forum, let us ponder on these three questions. First, how can we more effectively apply the principles of Islamic economics and finance to tackle pressing global challenges facing our world today? Second, how can we ensure that Islamic finance remains grounded in its principles and values in an evolving financial landscape characterized by innovation and technological advancement? Third, what steps are needed to enhance our economic, financial, and monetary system that will further embody, both in form and substance, the fundamental principles of Islamic economics and finance? It is our hope that these questions can guide us along this journey, urging us to reflect, engage, and collaborate to seek practical solutions via value-based reforms towards a shared vision of a more resilient global Islamic economy. I believe that there will be many enlightening discussions over the next 2 days, but allow me to share very briefly some propositions for consideration. Firstly, embodying Maqasid al-Shariah in economic and sustainable structural reforms. Secondly, advancing innovation in Tijari or trade and Waqaf as catalysts to reinforce an inclusive and resilient socio-economic model, where Islamic finance plays a greater role in delivering value-based solutions. And thirdly, strengthening global integration to propel mutual economic development and shared prosperity among Islamic nations, including through increased intra-trade within the OIC. We look forward to the efforts that will support these propositions. This includes closer engagements with multilateral institutions and investors, as well as initiatives to enhance the regulatory environment to facilitate the application of a more diverse range of Sharia contracts. Ladies and gentlemen, to conclude, G5 represents a significant collaboration, bringing together over 2,300 delegates from 75 countries. The forum is made possible through the patronage of the Ministry of Finance Malaysia and the strong support of all our partners. Thank you to all of you who have made this forum a reality and success. My deepest thanks also go out to the Honorable Prime Minister for gracing this forum today, the esteemed speakers and participants. As we engage in meaningful dialogues, let us harness our creativity to challenge the status quo, contributing ideas and solutions based on Islamic economics and finance to address global economic and social challenges. On that note, thank you, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, Governor. ضيوفنا الأجلاء وحضورنا الكرام، يشرفنا أن يكون معنا اليوم رئيس وزراء ماليزيا بافتتاح المنتدى وإلقاء الكلمة الرئيسية الاقتصاد الإسلامي العالمي أجندة الإصلاح من أجل ازدهار مشترك. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are truly honored and privileged to have with us this morning Yang Amat Berhormat Prime Minister to deliver his much anticipated opening speech, sharing his thoughts and vision on Islamic economics and finance. Prime Minister of Malaysia, Yang Amat Berhormat Dato Seri Anwar bin Ibrahim. فليتفضل مشكورا.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahilladzi anzala ala abdihil kitaba wa lam yaj'al lahu iwaja. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Saudara Datuk Seri Amir Hamzah, Menteri Keuangan II, Menteri Pendidikan Tinggi, Saudara Zamri, Saudara Johan Merekan, KSP dan tetamu-tamu yang saya muliakan, khususnya Gubernur Bank Negara, Saudara Abdul Rashid Ghafur, para menteri yang hadir dari negara-negara rakan, saudara-saudara yang saya muliakan. Alhamdulillah kita panjatkan tinggi-tinggi kesyukuran kepada Allah SWT kerana rencana kita untuk mengadakan sidang, mengumpulkan tenaga pemikir dan pelaksana serta pengusaha untuk menjayakan gerakan dan kegiatan ekonomi Islam itu berhasil. Dalam Belanjawan Madani tahun lalu, saya umumkan hasrat Malaysia menjadi pengkalan utama, mengangkat keupayaan kita sebagai landasan untuk mengembangkan kegiatan ekonomi dan keuangan Islam. Berikutnya, Universiti Islam Antarabangsa dan MCF mengumpulkan sarjana dalam dan luar negara untuk mengemukakan usul, pandangan-pandangan, kritikan dan teguran dan cadangan-cadangan konkret yang kemudian diambil oleh Kementerian Keuangan, Bank Negara, Suruhanjaya Security dan syarikat-syarikat utama kerajaan merenung dan memikir kaedah yang lebih berkesan untuk mengangkat keupayaan memperkenalkan instrumen prakasa baru bagi mengupayakan dan menjayakan ekonomi Islam yang punya potensi yang sangat besar. Ekonomi Islam itu tidak harus terbatas dengan kaedah sistem bank halal yang bertambah sekarang ataupun industri halal. Tetapi seperti mana yang ditegur sekarang, ia harus melihat kepada maqasid syariah itu sendiri. Bahawa kekuatan ekonomi Islam harus mencakup bidang yang luas, tidak dari segi kaedah yang terikat dengan fikih ataupun dikatakan pemikiran hukum semata-mata, tetapi memperluaskannya kepada bidang-bidang dan cabaran baru. Industri dan security makanan, digital dan juga AI. Kerana yang ditekankan seperti yang disebut oleh Gubernur tadi, mendasari semua pertimbangan ini adalah soal nilai. Dan nilai itu membedakan sistem ekonomi yang menunjukkan keprihatinan tentang kemanusiaan, prinsip keadilan dan kesejahteraan. So, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, one which no longer exceeds to archaic economic orthodoxies, which prioritize growth and material pursuits over quality of life, while glorifying profit maximization and treating labor as a commodity rather than with compassion or rahmah. One of the most focal contributions of Islamic economics is the consideration of overall human well-being as the end goal, al-adl wa ihsan, where justice forms a pivotal component and the humane approach offers an alternative to the imperfections of unbridled capitalism, perpetuating inequality in wealth and living standards. As we navigate the complexities and uncertainties of these post-normal times, the principles of Islamic economics and finance remain even more relevant to resolve the core conundrums which the world is facing. These include lifting abject poverty, ensuring food security, enabling equal opportunity to comprehensive quality education. This is precisely why we have to embark the holistic Islah, a reform agenda for positive change and a force for good in the global economy. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the Islamic finance ecosystem needs to evolve progressively, placing greater emphasis on value-based finance, transcending the profit-driven motives, or to embrace higher purpose where wealth is not just accumulated among the few but circulated to uplift communities, and investment carries a balanced promise of prosperity. In the light of this, it is imperative that we work together to address common challenges and create opportunities for economic participation and upward mobility. By promoting micro, small and medium business development, as well as access to finance for underserved and unserved populations, we can reduce disparities and foster shared prosperity. I've alluded to earlier in my introductory remarks in Malay that it's time for us to graduate from the conventional view of what is halal industry or what is riba-free or Syariah compliant banking and financial instruments, to transcend it to become more in line with the ultimate higher objectives of the Syariah, which would involve the principles of justice, of equity, helping to resolve the problem of abject poverty, inequities, and require greater participation from the masses. Now, through global integration and effective use of Islamic social finance instruments, we can bridge the gap between the haves and have-nots and promote shared societal cohesion. This must be an effective alternative. It's not just introducing instruments introduced under a flawed, unbridled capitalist system, where progress is achieved, development is seen, but inequality persists and worsened. Half the world's 75 most vulnerable countries are becoming poorer compared to the wealthiest economies. This stark finding must compel the international community, especially the international Islamic organizations and development partners, to act swiftly and collectively. We must work together to enhance international cooperation with concerted, holistic, and harmonized economic growth strategies, including removing structural barriers, improving infrastructure, enhancing trade practices, and fostering good governance in reducing economic disparities. Here in Malaysia, in the Madani Economic Framework, we attempt to focus on the civilizational development and beginning with the issue of governance. One of the flaws I observe is poor governance in our societies, tolerance to corruption and abuse of power, enriching those elites in power and depriving the masses from what is their rightful place in society. So we have taken measures under the Madani Economic Framework. And I must thank all the players. Bank Negara is, of course, pivotal in this, Securities Commission, and our GLICs, which must take the lead in promoting this new economic framework based on justice and equity. For example, ITECAD, championed by Bank Negara, is a partnership of Islamic financial institutions with micro entrepreneurs empowering them through blended finance programs, combining seed capital, training grants, and loans funded. Last year, I approved an allocation of additional 10 million ringgit to further scale up iTechCard. Today, I wish to reiterate the Malaysian government's commitment towards this innovation through partnership and announce a commitment of 100 million ringgit to seed much more innovations. I'm glad to announce 2 new blended finance innovations. First, a pilot program on greening halal businesses in collaboration with the Islamic Development Bank, Ministry of Finance, Bank Negara Malaysia, and the World Bank. This aims to assist halal businesses in Malaysia to transition to greener and sustainable practices by providing technical capacity building, tools to measure and report greenhouse gas emissions, and transition financing, including certifications. Now, before I move to the second, I must stress this point. This is a departure from conventional Islamic Economic and Finance Conference. We are dealing with the challenges and the spirit, the zeitgeist of our times. Energy transition, digital transformation, food security. This must be relevant in the discourse of Islamic economics and finance. Now, on the second proposal, we call it Project Hassan, a collaboration between Lembaga Zakat Negeri Kedah, MIFC Leadership Council, Association of Islamic Banking and Financial Institutions Malaysia, IBIM, and in SAFE University to upscale zakat initiatives to elevate the socio-economic conditions of the Asnaf in Kedah. Through this collaboration, 10 million ringgit is targeted not only to strengthen the Asnaf community, but also improve the direct benefits of harvest for the paddy farmers. Now, initially, for those of you who are not familiar to the Malaysian scene, paddy farmers happen to be one of the most, or the poorest in our society. So there must be additional effort to uplift the living standards of the paddy farmers, other than our recent efforts of spending additional 5 billion ringgit to uplift the infrastructure for paddy farmers in Kedah, Perlis, and parts of Penang and North Perak. Beyond this, we must also innovate and leverage on the concept of wakaf. Towards this, firstly, in March 2024, the government approved a 100 million ringgit grant towards the establishment of a Mara Wakaf Endowment Fund, focusing on crowding in private contributions towards furthering education and entrepreneurship. Second, the government has extended tax incentives to cover stock-based Wakaf initiatives, building on the model already implemented under Wakaf Amanah Saham Nasional Berhad. Thirdly, for our 2024 budget, the government set aside 500 million ringgit of loan financing for the development of property development on Wakaf land. And fourthly, the Securities Commission will introduce fundraising for Wakaf developments through P2P financing and equity crowdfunding platforms, with the government providing matching funding through MyCIF at 0% financing rate. I welcome more initiatives in this space which will broaden the economic horizon and create diverse opportunities for small and medium businesses as well as underprivileged individuals. Consider what is happening around the world today. The rise of fascism, Europe, in the States, and many parts of the world. The impact of climate change, the revival of great power politics and threat of world war. Transformation, therefore, is not only about addressing gaps, it is also about embracing and adapting the future. We are in the midst of generational evolution in core technology of the financial services sector. Much in the same way, the generative artificial intelligence has fundamentally transformed how vast amounts of data are being used. Now, I am reminded of my conversations with NVIDIA and recently Microsoft. My standard question would be, what about values? Is it true that AI is value-free? Now, the answer is no. So we have to build this capacity, and it's relevant in the discourse on Islamic economics that we build an upskilling of our professionals, our young experts, to be able to ensure that digitalization and AI is not to impose values determined by the West, but to be decided by our own community and our own society. And this is, of course, a challenge that we'll have to deal with, and the upskilling program must be not only enhanced, but must be accelerated. Now, achieving Syariah compliance in arena of digital assets and smart contracts without more is not enough. We must ensure that these technologies are developed and implemented in such a way as to empower our people, create greater unity and cohesiveness among our countries, and give us greater freedom to rebuild and sustainable and resilient societies. The collaboration between MBSB, a Malaysian Islamic bank, and Facet, a Dubai fintech company, announced at the recent Kuala Lumpur KL20 conference is yet another instance positively indicating that our local institutions are ready to embrace global technology companies with a transformational vision for Malaysia and the world. Risk is a fundamental tenet of the maqasid of this industry. Risk sharing should be a principle that defines not only the products offered to consumers, but also by way in which we direct our creative efforts. In these turbulent times, risk-taking is necessary in order that we can surpass the achievements of the past and truly harness the potential ahead of us. I encourage our institutions to invest, innovate, and integrate, and think big to bring solutions that conventional finance has not yet even seen. We must go where others fear to tread and work across the Global Technology Forum. As saying goes, fortes fortuna adiuvat, fortune favors the strong. In particular, innovation in the halal sector should be a prime focus to enhance the efficiency and transparency across the end-to-end supply chain. As part of the continued and intensified efforts to enhance the investment ecosystem within Malaysia. First, the Retirement Fund, or KWAP, will invest through Dana Pemacu up to 3 billion ringgit in Sharia-compliant investments into supporting high-growth domestic Malaysian companies and also catalyze the venture investment ecosystem. Second, the Securities Commission will establish Malaysia's first social exchange, a structured approach for participation of private capital in projects with positive social outcome. This will benefit entities such as NGOs, social enterprises, and state Islamic religious councils. Third, I'm also pleased to introduce a new dimension to our sukuk issuance under the Government of Malaysia via the Wakalah Bil Khadamat structure. We plan to finalize this sukuk by 2025, as well as we work to complete all required arrangements and preparation. Fourth, we'll continue innovating on sukuk structures, particularly to best meet the needs of climate and energy transition, together with sustainability, building on past innovations such as SRI, Sukuk Ihsan, structures and linkages to Wakaf. Fifth, Labuan International Business and Financial Center, via its Islamic Digital Asset Center initiative, will actively raise and invest funds digitally based on blockchain technology by initiating Islamic asset-backed tokens and also an Islamic digital finance sandbox. And lastly, I wish to commend the Islamic banking industry for their collective pledge of 2.67 billion ringgit in secured financing facilities through the Halal Development Corporation's Halal Integrated Platform to support the development of the halal industry in Malaysia. Thank you. Now, considering that the global size of Islamic trade finance today represents only less than 5% of approximate total trade finance activities by OIC member countries, I call on OIC leaders to up the ante and facilitate cross-border access to beef up innovation, trade and investments. Towards supporting global OIC trade, Malaysia plans to implement G2G facilitation leveraging on Islamic trade finance for a portion of economic cooperation between the OIC countries. This will help turbocharge the growth of Islamic economy. Now, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Malaysia remains committed to the net zero carbon emissions target by 2050 and building a resilient and sustainable economy. The initiatives under the National Energy Transition Roadmap and ETR are a testament to our resolve in addressing the climate challenges of our time. Thus, I'm delighted to share that Malaysia will spearhead the development of a global program for Islamic economists in collaboration with implementation partners. This program aims to cultivate a cadre of dynamic and highly skilled economists equipped with the right knowledge and expertise in Islamic economics to ideate solutions that address contemporary global challenges. So the academia and the faculty is not ignored. They have a major task. It is a multi-track program offering executive education, applied research, and working internship for participants to gain professional experience. The challenge not only for the Islamic university, faculties, but all universities in Malaysia. I'm also glad that the Islamic finance industry in Malaysia, through MIFC Leadership Council, it's taking the lead to embracing innovation and impact-driven initiatives. The MLC position paper to be launched today outlines priorities to drive Islah of Islamic finance, expanding from the halal to tayyib, to further advance Malaysia's national aspirations and contribute to the betterment of the Ummah. The future of Islamic economy is truly one of promise and possibility, but it's also one that requires concerted efforts, steadfast determination, and unwavering resolve. Together, let us rise to the challenge and seize this opportunity with courage and conviction. With that, I wish you a productive discourse and look forward to tangible outcomes of the forum. Dengan lafaz Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, saya dengan ini meluncurkan Global Forum on Islamic Economics and Finance. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Yang Amat Berhormat Prime Minister, for officiating G5 2024. We wish to request Yang Amat Berhormat to remain on stage for the next agenda. Esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, we wish to invite to the stage Minister of Finance to Malaysia and distinguished guests. Dipersilakan. ضيوفنا الأجلاء وحضورنا الكرام، بعد لحظات سنشهد معا لحظة إطلاق ورقة موقف المجلس القيادي للمركز المالي الإسلامي الدولي في ماليزيا من قبل رئيس وزراء ماليزيا. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the chairman of MLC will now present the position paper to Yang Amat Berhormat Prime Minister. Dipersilakan. Congratulations to MIFC on the official launch of the Leadership Council position paper. Esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, we will now proceed with the MOC exchanges. We begin with the exchange of MOC between MLC and Management Executive Komite Nasional Ekonomi dan Keuangan Syariah KNEKS, Indonesia. May we now invite Dr. Sultan Emir Hidayat, Director of Islamic Economy Supporting Ecosystem, and Ibu Dr. Hajah Siti Ma'rifah, Chairperson Provincial Committee for Islamic Economy and Finance, to the stage. Please exchange the documents. Please look at the camera. Thank you to representative of KNEKS Indonesia. Next is between MLC and Finance Office of Presidency of the Republic of Türkiye. May we now invite Mr. Tariq Akin, Head of the Department of Participation Finance Office Türkiye, and Professor Göksel Asan, President of Finance Office Türkiye, to the stage. Please exchange the documents. Please look at the camera. Thank you to the representative of Finance Office Türkiye. We will now proceed with the exchange of MOC between MLC and Islamic Finance Council, United Kingdom. May we now invite Mr. Omar Sheikh, Director of UKIFC, and Dame Susan Rice, Chair Global Steering Group, Global Ethical Finance Initiative, to the stage. Please exchange the documents. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the final MOC to be exchanged is between MLC and Hong Kong Trade Development Council, HKTDC. May we now invite Dr. Patrick Lau, the Deputy Executive Director, to the stage. Please exchange the documents. Thank you to the representative of HKTDC. Yang Amat Berhormat Prime Minister, we wish to thank you for your presence, delivering an invaluable speech, officiating the ceremony, launching the initiatives, and witnessing the MOC exchange. And now we wish to invite Honorable Prime Minister, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, to watch a short video clip on MLC position paper. Dipersilakan.
Malaysia has made significant progress in Islamic finance and now aims to advance further amidst challenges. In 2022, The MIFC Leadership Council, or MLC, initiated by Bank Negara Malaysia and the Securities Commission Malaysia, was formed to spearhead the sector's growth by strengthening collaboration and cooperation. Building on 60 years of achievements in Islamic finance, Malaysia is well positioned to lead this new wave, the Islah curve, to support the reform and restoration of the economy and society agenda through Islamic finance. The MLC's position paper, issued this May 2024, outlines an urgent case and opportunity for change and puts forward 50 ideas and recommendations as building blocks to build this new Islah curve for the common prosperity and well-being of all. We welcome all parties to join forces to help shape the future of Islamic finance for Malaysia and beyond together.
Congratulations again to MIFC on the launch of the position paper. We hope the adoption of the recommendations and initiatives will propel Islamic finance forward. Ameen. Yang Amat Berhormat Prime Minister, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, can we have one group photo to commemorate this momentous occasion? Yes? Photographers on the stage. One group photo. All remain seated. All smile. معالي رئيس الوزراء، جزاكم الله خير الجزاء على كلمة الافتتاح الرسمية وإطلاق المبادرة وحضور مناسبة تبادل مذكرات التعاون. We pray that Yang Amat Berhormat Prime Minister is blessed with good health, abundance of barakah and rahmah. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك وبالله التوفيق والهداية والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.